See if we got any sound. Here we go. Yeah, we do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA. We'll be talking about wine and beer today, and of course, mail. So hang on, stay tuned. Let's see what we got to say. Okay, and here we go. Let's have some fun. This is a Naked Wines commercial.
Great wine like this costs only $8 to make, but then middlemen like me raise the price. Then I do it again to get richer. And again. And once again. Until that same bottle costs you $30. But Naked Wines connects you directly with the best independent winemakers to give you an honest price, which is bad business for me.
Naked Wines, the new way to wine.
Okay, so it took me longer this morning to find a wine commercial for direct-to-consumer wine than it took me to put the whole rest of the show together. And say, well, what's the point? Well, we'll get to the point in a minute here. Here we go. Let's get to the meat of things. Okay, PostcardMania celebrates 25 years and $100 million in revenue and 111,000 small business clients. And you've heard the story, but I just like to, they put out a lot of press releases, so I give Joy Genduza her credit. I will read your press releases if you're growing in mail. PostcardMania, one of the things I really admire is that they have case studies there. Now, they don't have the kind of case studies I want. And I said this to Joy on a webinar that she gave. I said, you never post an incremental gains case study. Surely some of your clients must do more than 2,000 pieces in the mail, And what I mean by that is that if you really want to know the impact of mail, you take a list, let's say 20,000, let's take a long run, and you say, well, here are our customers, here are our people that have bought in the last 12 months, and we're going to mail, we were thinking of mailing 20,000 postcards, but we're instead going to mail 15,000 postcards, and we're going to not mail randomly selected 5,000 of those people. Okay? That would be the way to test the incremental impact of postcards, right? So if you were an e-commerce company and you said, man, that PostcardMania is making waves, or you could try it with Best Postcards or Andrew Ettinger or Paul Lawson down at the Market Builder. They actually support WDMA. Anyway, you say, well, we want to try some mail. We want to test some mail. It's a terrible way to start. You really want to do more than that, but we can do it together. And call me up. First join so that at least there's a little bit of quid pro quo. Then call me up and say, hey, we want to do some measurement. We want to do some incremental testing. And so let's if you have 20,000 customers, you can for sure do it. It's better with 200,000. Many of the tests we've done, it was 500,000, and we didn't mail, let's say, 30,000, so you get a really, really high confidence level. But we've done it over and over and over and over. And I have friends who do it over and over and over and over. And mail always wins. Usually there's about a 300% EBITDA return on investment, okay, for your CFO. So, no matter what, people say mail is expensive. That's because nobody tests. And I said this to Joy, and she said, well, our average customer is, a dentist's office or something. And, they only want to mail just a few pieces, hopefully every month. And I understand that. And she didn't want to overcomplicate it. She wanted people to see industries where other people were succeeding with this process. And she's done an excellent job. They have an excellent website. It's probably the best data for mail in defense of mail of anywhere else there is. So I give them a lot of credit. But anyway, if you really did want to find out if this makes sense for you, then that would be the way to do it. Take 20,000+, not mail 5 at least, and then look at their subsequent purchases for the next few weeks. And what you'll find is that mail will win. Will win by a lot. And then, after you do that, then you use mail to find out what are the key response triggers. What are the things that your market is interested in? We're going to read some articles about what someone thinks the market's interested in without testing. That's the way 99% of the articles I hit are. They say, this is what we think is happening. This is what we think is happening. Okay? Mail can give you a definitive perspective on that. And further, mail can segment your customers at a level that you can't do with other media. And the reason is because we know who we mail to, right? People say, well, yeah, we know where we advertised. We told Facebook we wanted 35 to 55 men, high income, high education. Yeah, okay, but you don't know who specifically saw your ad. And even if it was presented to them, you don't know who it was presented to, and you don't know whether they paid any attention, right? You don't know that. Okay? We know exactly the household. We know that it got delivered because the USPS can actually confirm that with informed visibility. We can actually get notice from the post office, USPS, for no extra charge, that this mail was delivered. And if you have an email for them, you can then contact them saying it's in your mailbox. Okay? Most people don't know that. Yes, you can. You can also get it in informed delivery so that they can see in their regular email what came in the mail today if they're signed up for it. And you can even put in a 4-color image of your postcard. You can do a lot of things, okay? But we know who we were mailing to. We know it got delivered. We know that it went to a decision maker, okay? Didn't just go to anybody. You know, somebody might get the mail. My wife says, didn't you read the mail? I said, no, I don't read the mail. I get the mail. You read the mail. Okay? That's the decision maker that we're working with. Decision maker. She decides who gets what and whether it goes in the trash. Okay? And lastly, and most importantly, mail forces the decision maker to decide. No other medium. All other media throw themselves away. You ignore them. You get up and make yourself a sandwich and you miss it, right? Right? In many cases, and we'll bring one up, hopefully if I get to it, it throws itself away before you even see it. If you have a junk filter on, or your email provider does a good job, it's gone. And you didn't have to lift a finger. In mail, you have to decide. Oh, I want to buy this now. That's one decision. Or, maybe later. Maybe I'll look at it later. Set it aside. Or right in the trash. I'm busy today, which is fine. You still had to read and engage more than you have to read and engage any digital ad, even if you throw it in the trash. Sorry. But anyway, but we can test all of these things, and we can find out what groups of your customers by what factors matter. And then we can personalize. But you can't just personalize off the top of your head. You can't say, I'm going to build personas, and away we go. So anyway, I get tired of that stuff. Let's go on. So Bud Light brand health shows no sign of recovery as impact of backlash persists. And of course, we did quote a Rolling Stone magazine who said these boycotts never amount to a hill of beans. Well, according to Marketing Week, it's amounting to a hill of beans, okay? The stock is down about, 10%, 15% or something. And it's gone back about 10%, but now it's down today by quite a bit. But the stock price doesn't really matter. Scott Adams pointed that out. But not only is their stock price down, but the stuff that really matters, the beer's index score, I don't even know what that is, but YouGov's brand index, whatever that is, said that it went from 7.9 positive to minus 8.4 in the U.S. as of June 11th. Okay, woo! Again, I don't know what the index means, but that's a whole lot of distance, right? And in the UK, it went from just barely positive to minus 6.2. Okay, and then they've got lots of other studies. What that tells you is if you have Bud Light or AB InBev stock, you may want to dump it just because the long-term prognosis seems to be terrible. And it started around, this is March 28th. You know, the news came out in March Madness. That was what Mulvaney was talking about in their little Instagram post. And okay, stock may bounce back. You never know. Don't take this as stock advice. But it began in March Madness, and it shows no signs of stopping. And overall, it's you know, they made light of it. And not only did that, but what makes it interesting, older consumers who've been drinking it for years, and that's who they was originally targeted to. You know, if you remember the Miller Lite, which was kind of the first breakthrough marketing of light beer, it was older, retired professional ball players who fought about whether it was taste great or less filling. You know, but anyway, it was like, you know, if you're overweight, you could drink Miller Lite. And so Bud Light kind of rode the tails of that. And it went from 18.1 down to 14.5 in the older market. And so it's lost its top selling spot. Modelo now is ahead of it. And just to show you the complexity of it, U.S. LGBTQ advocacy group, Human Rights Campaign Foundation, gave AB Bev a top rating for inclusion and equality last year. But now it's rescinded that rating. So even the people they were trying to be inclusive about have decided that Bud had a profound lack of fortitude in upholding those values. Okay. Also wanted to point out that WineEnthusiast has a new website combining their ratings and their wonderful information. All of WineEnthusiast's content remains free to readers with no barrier to accessing the company's expertise. Wonderful news. Okay, there it is, which brings us to our final point here. John Stammel and John sent me an email a couple of days ago saying we're connected, and he said that, you know, it's not enough to know who buys what. It's important to know why they buy. I wrote him back and I said, I know you can't know why consumers buy. And the reason I know is because I don't know why I buy. And you don't either. You know, a lot of even the big decisions, you know, are triggered by something that you had no clue of the week before. And I can't tell you what I'm going to buy for sure next week. Not for sure. No. I can't tell you when I go into a Home Depot or something what I'm going to come out with. I can't even tell you 5 minutes ahead. So if me, knowing all I know about me, can't tell you what me is going to do, then heaven help you if your marketing depends on the why of buy. Anyway, and here's my book, Spinning Straw into Gold. Just look for Miglosh on Amazon, and you'll find me. And in there, I make that argument much more convincingly. But so John and I had this discussion. So then I decided to read his most recent article on LinkedIn. And he said that DTC, direct-to-consumer wine sales, have fallen. You know, it's 4% year over year. It's really basically one bad month. This one was actually above. This one was equal. This one looks like equal. So we got one bad month, which was March. And, you know, maybe everybody was drinking beer for March Madness. I don't know the answer to that. Or maybe this one was an unusually good month. You know, you can't really know. But he uses that as an impetus to go into the direct-to-consumer principles for selling wine. Wine sales overall is more than 16% up. Okay, it's up both in on-premise and out-of-premise sales, which is like whether you buy it at a restaurant or you buy it and take it home. And so small to medium-sized independent wineries have less distribution. He gave a speech and wondered at the direct-to-consumer wine symposium. There's a lot of wine marketing stuff I found out when I was looking for a direct-to-consumer commercial. So the first question is, how dependent are you on direct-to-consumer sales? And consumers are going back to their local stores, which typically benefit the people with national distribution, the larger wineries. How are you attracting buyers? And are you trying different stuff? And this is probably why it came up, but tasting rooms, events, advertising, and direct mail. Okay, so direct mail gets mentioned in the article. Okay, are you measuring? And he says, what's your return on investment for each tactic you're trying, and are you able to measure the productivity? There isn't any clue on how to do that. I just gave you the clues at the beginning of the show. So now you know a couple of really big things to try. It's much more difficult with any other media than direct mail. And if you don't know how, obviously, John at WDMA, reach out to me, or on LinkedIn. I'm on there all day. Are you treating customers as buyers or building relationships? And that one, of course, if you followed this channel for any length of time, you know that I don't really believe in vendor-consumer relationships. They're not relationships. They're not like any relationship I have with any person in the world, right? If you send me sour grapes, I will stop buying your wine. That's all there is to it. I will whine about your wine like it's sour grapes. Anyway. So looking to see so it says that Gen Z and millennials are looking to see whether your company is worthy of their patronage. And sometimes they care about whether you deliver the wine on time, whether it gets spoiled in shipping, or whether it's worth the convenience. The Naked Wines commercial, interestingly, was totally about price. It says, we can give you a relationship with a small winery. We our concierge, or whatever, of the best wines, unknown wines in the world. I belonged to Total Wine for a while, but it did seem a little pricey to me. I enjoy box wine because as an Orthodox Christian, we fast all the time. We fast today. We fast Monday. Tuesday was a wine day. Thursday is a wine day. Saturday, Sunday are wine days at this particular time of the year. So if you open a bottle of wine and you don't finish it, it's probably pretty much getting bad. So box wine, no air, sucks right out. You can have a glass today. You can have a glass, not today, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. No problem. So, there's there's reasons, and that's why I buy box wine mainly. I finally found one I can enjoy. It's not good. I know that it's not good, but it's got that one feature, no air. Okay. So anyway, John signed up for California Wine and Winery information and got $10 off on a case of wine. He says, I'm not ready to buy, I'm ready to learn. Okay, so maybe email is not the vehicle for learning, right? Because it can go right into your junk mail and you don't even know that they did it, right? So you have a screener that you don't even talk to. So if it's just a transaction, the nearby store will do, especially if they deliver. Okay? But you need more than that. And I did watch a couple of Total Wine. Total Wine? Yeah. They're a retail chain, and they have this helpful little happy girl telling you what to buy. It's a good commercial, and it basically says, you don't have to know what you're doing. Come to Total Wine, and we'll tell you what to do, and we'll have the lowest price in town. Excellent. And that's one of the advantages of direct mail. Direct mail, you have to engage, but you can not only inform me about the distinctives of your winery, but you can also give me a coupon. How cool is that? Okay. Can you replicate what takes place in your wine tasting room digitally? No. So some consumers care about the ethos of that wine, of that winery. But most wineries batch and blast. And maybe they've tested it, but according to John, they probably haven't. They probably aren't measuring that much. So they just do it because it's convenient, easy, and makes the needle move. Okay? If you don't know why, you don't have anything to work. This is a part where I really, the important information is not what's in their purchase history. Well, that's a pretty important, that they go right into junk. That's a pretty important piece, right? And if you don't have anything to work with other than what I bought in the past, that says nothing about the future. Well, that's always kind of true. But the number one thing that's a predictor of the future is the past, I have to say. And the number one thing is buying behavior as opposed to clicks or other things, or that you went to my website. Okay? And so John and I agree most of the time on this. He's mostly right. But if you need a little more guidance in how to actually achieve what he's suggesting, WDMA, John at WDMA.org. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Bye-bye.